Welcome to the Wealthy Retailer Podcast. My name is Dan Holman, and my guest today is Madan Murthy. Madan Murthy is the General Manager with Canadian Retail Solutions, a little company we know something about. But I've asked Madan to join us today to talk a little bit about, point of sale and how that's impacting retail and what it looks like going forward today. So Madan, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tell us, first off, before we get into the point of sale stuff, the boring stuff, tell us something exciting. Tell us a little bit about your journey and what led you here today.
Well, my journey is kind of interesting because I'm originally from big city of Mumbai and landed up at 15 years of age. I left home at 15, landed up in the metropolis of Carstairs, Alberta, which if nobody knows it, you shouldn't. Small town, so big city to small town, without my parents. Went to high school there and then ended up at the University of Calgary. Yeah. So with a plan, of course. I was going to become an accountant. So, that was going to be my major. Yeah. Except slight change in plans because one way to put myself through university was to get a job. Well, ended up at Future Shop. Never worked retail before. Loved it. I don't know why. Loved technology. They put me in the computer department. So absolutely loved it. Yeah. 4 years of that and, going through every department, learned a lot about retail. Well, 2 years in when I had to select my major, I changed it. I was like, I love talking to people. I'm not going to do an accounting major, sit behind a desk. So I changed it. It became a human resource major with a marketing minor. So a combination of how organizations, because at the end of the day, I still wanted to know how professional organizations run, whether it's retail or any other business. So doing an HR degree with a marketing minor was a good blend. And sure enough, those 4 years of working in retail, that's a big part of where my journey has taken me in my career, right? My professional life, because I fell in love with retail and what it does. Post-graduation, of course, I did move away from retail, but that was more so because I wanted to spread my wings. I said, organizationally, I need to know how organizations grow. I was part of a small little company. It's large now. Small little company at the time, Replicon, which has since grown. We grew it in 10 years' time from 15 people. Me being the 15th person joining that company, to 175 people when I left. And we had a blast doing it. Mm-hmm. So my journey has taken me to leading sales teams, leading sales and marketing teams, having some oil and gas experience, and pretty much the way I see it, right back where I belong. And I say that because of my passion for retail, because of my understanding, having been at pretty much every level in a large retail chain, to understand decision making, to understand the pain, and to understand the pain that retailers can go through. And to be in a position today where I'm leading a team that can empathize, sympathize, and empathize with that.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, retail can be certainly a painful place for people to live, and I think that empathy is required. And that we don't look to bring anybody into the family, what we call the family, that CRS family, that doesn't have some semblance of, retail, blood in them. So, kudos and good for you. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that are maybe not so point of sale driven, not so technology driven, that I think retailers can connect with. I think we've heard this before. If you go down this hallway, you don't get very far before you start to see family. And my whole family lives in this building, and not unlike in retail, we're in a family business. And you don't know this yet, but I did change your last name, but that's neither here nor there. But what I want you to talk to, what I want you to speak to, is how you have managed to find yourself in a family business, and how those challenges that our retailers are sometimes faced with in those family businesses are overcome, and how you balance between, family and the experience that you have in growing an organization and being at, many levels of that sort of corporate, we'll call that corporate structure.
So I do have experience. Actually, majority of my experience is working in family businesses. Replicon was it's a classic example. It was a husband and wife run company,
Right.
And both of them very involved in the organization. For me, I enjoy that because it means that you've got people running the company that are invested in it. And you need that in order to grow it, because growth only comes from pain. Oh
Right.
God, does it ever come from pain? And if you're not going, you have to be able to fight through that.
Right.
And the only way you're going to fight through it is if you're committed to the process.
Sure.
So for me, that's been I would say a humbling experience, having worked also in corporate, which is not run by family. Working in family business has truly allowed me the opportunity to grow, to make mistakes, learn from them, and to grow.
Right.
And really be a part of that family.
And I think that, I grew up in a family business as well, a couple of different family businesses, or different families' businesses. And I think it gave me balance, and it gave me the ability to understand some of the intricacies, not just in what a family business is or what a small business is, but what retailers are dealing with every single day. The first person a retailer typically turns to when they need help is somebody within their family, somebody within their circle of trust, maybe not always the same last name, but it's certainly always somebody within their circle of trust. And I think our retailers need to recognize that that's okay, but that there is a good balance that comes, in and out of that, family fun zone, I'll call it.
I think it also lends to the culture, to your ability to create a family culture. It's not just about the last name.
Right.
It's that we spend more time, I tell my team this all the time, we spend more time with each other than we do our own families back home.
Right.
So you know what? It needs to be a family atmosphere. It needs to be an atmosphere not just where our clients can walk in, but as our employees can walk in and want to be here.
And want to be here and feel like they are.
Feel like this is an amazing place. Wake up in the morning with a smile on your face and say, hey, this is what I enjoy doing. I want to be here.
I want to be here. I want to be here. All right, let's get off the family thing now and talk about CRS. Tell me a little bit about, CRS.
So, I use this phrase, and everybody and their dog uses this phrase, one-stop shop. But I truly believe that's what we are. And the reason CRS is a one-stop shop for retailers, not for everybody, but for our retailers, we are. Retailers are intent on running their business. We as an organization at CRS have, one of the things we've done is made sure that we've surrounded ourselves with people rich in retail experience and background.
Right.
That lends, so it's not just about providing a solution, it's about the entire process of guiding the client towards the appropriate solution for them at that time, keeping in mind their growth and their vision and all. So it's all encompassing.
Yep.
Anybody can go buy a computer or a solution.
Or a solution, yeah.
Right.
And so when you say solution, you refer to, the platforms.
100%.
Yeah, so the software platforms or the software, the point of sale system, the point of sale software.
We're a multi-platform business.
Right.
I don't believe in a one-size-fits-all when it comes to technology, because it doesn't.
It doesn't. I agree with that. It does. And so CRS, Canadian Retail Solutions, represents several different software platforms, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Why? Not just because one size doesn't fit all, but
because we look at a multitude of different factors when we're talking to our retailers. Annual volume is one of the factors we look at. What are they doing? What's their vision? Where are they going to get to? Number of stores that they currently have. What is their vision 3 to 5 years? What are they thinking they're going to get to? Everybody comes in looking for a solution, knowing what they want.
Right.
That's not true, though. That they think they know.
Right.
They don't really know.
Right. They've done their education. They've done their research. They've become educated, through their circle.
Right. And you just don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. Fair enough.
And so our approach at CRS is really to take a step back, understand what the client's trying to accomplish, and look, everybody has a budget. Not all of us can go in and buy a Tesla today.
Right.
Okay. So we have
Don't
to
let
find,
Elon know that. He thinks everyone could
Should.
and can and should, yes. But I agree with you.
right?
Yep.
But so the approach really is find the right solution to what they're trying to accomplish within the appropriate budget. And hence, that requires multiple platforms
Right.
because it's all across. And on top of that, you add the complexity of technological feasibility.
Right.
I use that phrase because you got server-based, you got cloud-based. Everybody, most people, you'll say cloud to, they don't even know what a cloud solution is.
Right.
But they've heard it out there, so they think that's the next thing that they have to have.
Right.
But there's a technological feasibility involved there. You got
Sure.
to analyze all of
Right. And do you think that, I mean, is cloud-based operation, so let's just define what that means. I mean, cloud-based is operating outside of your own physical environment.
Correct.
It is using an operating system that is not literally in the clouds, but rather off-premise.
Off-premise.
Right. Okay. Is that important for retailers today to be off-premise?
For some,
Why?
because of it eliminates a capital cost. This is the one key thing it does. It eliminates the capital cost, not just initially, but then the upkeep of that server that
Sure.
you need to have in-house.
Right.
So for some clients, where it is technologically feasible, because they've got all the rest of the infrastructure in place,
Sure.
it's a great way to go.
Right.
There are other clients that just won't go down that path.
Sure.
All kinds of things to consider, including data security.
Right.
That they're worried about, and they'd rather have a little bit more control over where their
Where
data
their data is
sits.
stored. Sure. Sure. And you do some of that data sort of protection as well.
All of that, and that's why I say I use the word solution. You said you use the word solution just for the point of sale. I should correct that. Actually,
Right.
I use the word solution because it's not just one thing.
Right. Fair.
It's everything.
Okay. All right. Fair. Tell me, so you have the luxury of working with retailers of all sizes. And I won't define what all sizes is. Yes, I will. You work with retailers that are very small, single store, small volume, to retailers that are a little bigger than that.
A lot bigger than that, yeah.
And one of the goals that, one of the strategies that I have is to utilize tools and technology that the big retailers utilize and bring it down to a level that the independent can utilize. And so I'm going to ask you about some innovation. You work with some of these big retailers. What innovations are you seeing at a big level that's going to make it down to the independent retailer? And when it gets to the independent retailer, it's going to impact their customer experience.
Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned customer experience, because all innovation that I'm seeing today and that I think we're going to continue to see, honestly, is based around customer experience, a better customer experience.
Right.
Okay. So one classic example that I can speak to, so that we're not just speaking in abstracts, is mobile point of sale.
Sure.
Now, mobile point of sale, we've, I would like to say over the last year, a little over a year, we've had a fantastic experience with one of our very large clients. And in implementing this in their high volume stores.
Right.
That was the concept.
Right.
It was a proof of concept that has now borne fruit. It's been so successful at driving. It's not just about revenue. See, the revenue was just, it happened.
Right.
But it happened because of the customer experience.
Sure.
And when I talk about mobile point of sale solutions, it's the ability to, when you have some people standing in line forever, that's not a good customer experience.
Yeah.
It happens at these large stores. But
It happens in small stores more often than it happens in big stores.
that too, yeah.
Right? I was at a
I've seen it.
retailer yesterday afternoon, and there was 14 people lined up in that store because there was something significant happening with one till.
Yep. You're absolutely right. In fact, I experienced that at one of our
Right.
clients as well.
Right.
Again, single store, single till.
Right.
When they get busy, they get busy.
Yeah.
What we've managed to do at CRS is, look, the big box stores, the large clients, it's great, it's cool, but we're built on independent retailers.
Right.
We're built on the backs of independent retailers, and that's important to us. So this entire process of implementing mobile POS at this large client has allowed us to gain the knowledge required now, as well as make it cost effective, because that's important.
It's very important.
The budgets are completely different.
Right.
So we've figured out now how this innovation can work for our independent single store, single till clients as well.
Sure.
And it's actually economically feasible for them to implement this, which is the great part about it.
And at those peak times in retail, whether you're a Halloween store or, a seasonal store, someone that sells, 60% of their annual volume in holiday,
Right.
We can't build this mass solution, I'll call it. We can't build this mass solution for the year round, but we can build it seasonally. And so now this technology, this bit of innovation that you're seeing is going to come down to that independent retailer and help them maintain a better customer experience.
Correct.
Okay, fair. Okay, I want to ask you this. There is what I would call a little bit of doom and gloom out there in retail today. Maybe there's more than a little bit of doom and gloom out there in retail. But from someone that is, in a foundational position to the retail, ecosystem, are you seeing, expansion, contraction, diversity, in 20 through 23? What's your outlook for the next 3 years in retail look like?
That's a timely question, I guess I could say. All through 2019, I've been hearing doom and gloom, and I'm still hearing it.
Sure.
I'm not seeing it.
Right.
Okay. Our clients are growing.
Right.
That's not me being facetious. That is just a reality of what's happening, and I'm basing it entirely on fact. What's happening up through to the end of December, what's already happening Jan through March, and what's expected to happen April onwards. I mean, so the doom and gloom that's out there, I gotta say, we always go through economic ups and economic downs.
Right.
The retailers who do well are the ones who plan well. They are prepared for this, and they're doing things. We talk about return on investment. It's always important.
Right.
People see it as less important when things are good because people are just spending money left, right, and center. Well, guess what? In 2020, it's those people that maximize their return on investment.
Right.
That's who's going to succeed.
Right.
So the doom and gloom, yeah, but I'm not seeing it, not with the smart ones.
So in our independent world, in the focus for independent retail, is it fair to say that you see expansion and transition ahead of contraction?
Absolutely.
There's more and more retail doors opening.
There's more retail doors opening, and there's more, our retailers, the ones who work very closely with us, are actually seeing 2020 as an opportunity. They're not looking at it as doom and gloom. Right. They get it.
Okay. Well, so I'm starting a new retail concept in 2020. What advice do you have for me?
Well, the first thing I'd start with is, from day one, building a brand around a story that resonates with your target clientele. That's really important. Mm-hmm. Now you've built that story, well, guess what step 2 is? Step 2, and this is what's going to get you ahead from day one, is making sure you have everything in place that puts you in a position to deliver on that promise that you just made. Because making a promise is the easy part. Keeping that promise is the hard part. And yeah, technological solutions are one piece of that puzzle.
Sure.
But I'm going to go back to the, data. Data is key. Mm-hmm. Analyzing that data is even more important. I mean, we look at data analytics. We live in a world filled with data analytics, from hockey to football to every aspect. Retail's no different. And making fact-based decisions as opposed to hunch-based decisions is what's going to. We talked about ROI.
Right.
That's what. And so for me, planning is extremely important. And if you can do that from day one, make sure you put yourself in a position that retail entity that you create, that brand you create, is going to take off from day one.
Right. And so what do you see as challenges or obstacles that are facing today's, independent retailer? And so more than what do you see as the challenge or the obstacle, how does innovation and technology address that?
Right. I think it's more about how innovation and technology addresses that than about, because challenges are there every day in every walk of life. From a retail standpoint, it's all about understanding the evolution of the customer experience. We've got a lot of millennials out there, and guess what? They're driving retail revenue. This is fact, not fiction.
Okay.
And so when you see that they're driving retail revenue, what are their buying habits? What is the customer experience they wish to have? And being at the forefront of that.
Right.
Everybody wants to do, opening up a retail store is the easy part. Buying stuff, putting it there, displaying it, putting tags. It's all the easy part.
Okay.
It's how am I going to pay for all this stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a lot of factors. How am I going to deliver on that customer experience? Guess what? Delivering on a customer experience also requires money.
Right. Do you think that customer experience is becoming permission to play? That every single person is out there talking about experience?
I do.
Why?
Because we live in a world of social media and sharing. I mean, this is what we do.
Right.
We eat something, we tweet about it. I mean, it's seriously, we live in a world of sharing absolutely everything, and the experience is a large part of it.
Right.
And within the world of independent retail, how do you grow your business? It's word of mouth. Yes, you have to market yourself, absolutely, but that's to drive new business. Once you've driven new business, you also want that marketing to double and triple for you.
Right.
That's return on investment. Your marketing dollars going as far as they possibly can. So it's also other people talking about you.
So what has changed in the last 50 years? I mean, if I go back 50 years ago, every big box, Woolrich, Eaton's, Woolworth, store was all about customer experience. How did they move away from that, and where are we going back to now?
If you were to
it's the big box that's dying. Let's be fair.
It is.
It's big box that's dying.
It is.
And it's dying because of why?
Because of lack of innovation.
Lack of innovation, not a lack of experience.
They're related.
Okay.
So you're trying to separate the two, and I'm saying no, that's not fair. That they are very much related.
Okay.
Keeping up with technological advances. I spoke to mobile POS.
Yes.
Mobile POS involves technology.
Sure.
Yes, it's all about delivering the customer experience, but that technology is what's helping deliver that experience.
Right.
And so it is important to understand that the two are very, very interrelated. And if we don't use the technological advances that exist to help us improve our customer experience, we're the ones going to lag. We're going to be the ones lagging behind.
Right. Okay.
Right? I mean, that's...
Yep. Fair. Okay. So let's look forward. What does Canadian Retail Solutions look like, in 2020 through 23? What does that next 3 years in the technology, in the provision of technology for retailers look like?
So the way I see it for the next three years for sure, there is going to be a shift towards more and more, we talked about this, cloud-based solutions. But the definition of how that's delivered, the typical cloud as we see it today, is where I see there to be an opportunity. Our clients trust us. And so I see Canadian Retail Solutions putting itself in a position where we're able to offer some of those solutions, offset the capital costs for our client, but have their data with us as opposed to guiding them to a solution that has data sitting in, whether it's Ontario or somewhere in the US.
Right.
So I really should see a shift of us transitioning and being able to offer some of these robust server-based solutions, but on a cloud platform for the client.
Why do I need it? Why do I need robust? Why do I need a big point-of-sale system? What's it going to accomplish for me?
No, it's not. So let's take a step back. It's not about big.
Okay.
And this gets right back to where I said, hey, the reason we're multi-platform is because it isn't a one-size-fits-all.
Right.
It really depends on you as a retailer and where you are at in that trajectory.
Right.
You're never going to be in a single point of sale for all your life, not if you're growing.
Right.
If you're doing well, it means that you're technologically also you're going to advance yourself, but it has to be in stages.
Okay. So I'm a $1 million retailer. No, I'm not. I'm a less than $1 million retailer. I'm less than $1 million. I'm a relatively new retailer. And I've been writing down tickets, for my life. And I'm ready to jump into, an actual cash register. What questions, a cash register?
First of all, I wouldn't be recommending a cash register.
Okay, so I'm going to look for a point of sale system.
Right.
What questions should I be asking of the people that provide point of sale?
You should be asking questions in regards to, I'd start with reporting. It's probably the one key thing. Well, what kind of reporting can I get out of the solution?
What do I want to report on?
Well, and see now so if those are the initial questions that you have, then my suggestion to you is do not go talk to a point of sale provider. And the reason I say that, and it sounds extremely self-serving, and it's not meant to be. When you go talk to a POS, point of sale solution provider, what is their role? To sell you that one solution.
Sure.
Come hell or high water, it's going to be fit into whatever it is you want.
Okay.
So what questions are they going to ask you to ask? Exactly the ones that guide you back to selecting the solution, not what you want.
Well, who should I talk to?
You got to talk. You got to come talk to a Canadian Retail Solutions, and the reason why you would want to talk to us is because the depth and breadth of retail background that we have.
Right.
Plus the fact that we are already providing all of these solutions. So you're not going to get a different solution. It's just that we're going to guide you the right way. So if I was to tell you exactly all the questions to ask, we'd be sitting here for the next 3 hours, because it really boils down to what is it you're trying to accomplish, and based on that, we can guide you.
Okay.
We'll tell you what questions to ask, and we'll help ask those questions on your behalf.
Of the point of sale
providers.
System. Okay.
And that way we guide you to the correct solution. We sit there with you. Look, we're a life partner, okay? We start that from day one. We don't say we're a life partner from the time you buy something. It's day one. From the time you're talking to us, you're important to us. So it's important that we be there on the demo of any solution, whether it's a demo we're doing or a demo we're involving the solution provider to do.
Right.
We're still there with you.
Okay.
So we're helping answer every single question and helping you actually make that decision. The one thing I find in the retail industry, retailers want to run their business. That's what they're passionate about. Technology scares a lot of people.
Sure.
It's overwhelming. That's what we're there for.
Okay. So tell us where we find out more about Canadian Retail Solutions and where a retailer can find out about the different solutions, as you said. Where they can find out more about the solutions that you're talking about.
Well, our website is a perfect place to start.
Okay.
Retailbycrs.com. It's quite informative, and we love talking to people. So if you've been to our website, I always encourage people, call us, because you'll only get pieces of information from the website. 780-449-0070.
Okay.
Give us a call. We're happy to talk and answer any questions you have.
Awesome. Madan, thanks very much. My guest today, Madan Murthy with Canadian Retail Solutions. Thanks.
Thank you.